So from your command station, you would run your bus wire out to a terminal block. Now, because I'm testing this right here, I'm just putting some alligator clips from my track, my running track now, and I'm just going to attach that to the end of these cables. So that's going to give me power. Now, because my layout is in sections, what I've done is my first section has one of these and the track power comes in. From right here and right here, the two where these guys meet, that's going to the next section where there's another one of these and the process is repeated, section by section by section by section. All that's doing is spreading out your layout and putting a terminal block in between every one of them. Now, from here, you're going to get these bulbs here. These are miniature lamps. The number is 1156. I got these on Amazon. They come in like 10 in a pack. Because I have 3 lines, I'm using 3 bulbs per section, as you've seen. But you could do this just one track at a time. It's completely up to you. But I think I got these for like $8 on Amazon, something like that. Now, the first part is wiring up your bulbs. Doesn't matter what wire you use, doesn't matter how you get it on there. I just happen to use red. Colors don't matter. What you want to do is solder a wire to the end of that and solder a wire to the side. This is the hardest because the solder doesn't take well to this, so it kind of winds up globbing up and you got to kind of do your best. Something I learned about this, the end of these bulbs, that little blob right there that's there normally, that is all solder. So all you have to do is melt that and stick your wire through it, and that's it. Now again, because I have 3 tracks, I did 3 bulbs. So what you're going to do is, again, this doesn't matter. It's just the way that I do it. You could use the side, you could use the end. I take all these center wires, this one, and the center one here, and you want to put all these together. Come on, twist them up. And you want to get one of these guys on there. Alright. Easy part's done. Now, this is going to go in line with your main power that's coming into the block. Not the one going out, but the one coming in. Now, I guess you don't have to use the, I don't know what they're called. I'm going to call it a Y clamp. I don't know exactly what the correct name is. The spade. That is the right name. You may not have to. If you want to just do bare wire, fine. It's a little difficult to put a 12-2 wire. That's what I use for my bus, is 12 gauge wire for the main bus. And then it's 18 gauge wire into here. But again, you could use whatever you want, whatever you have handy or whatever you can afford. Now, these other wires that are coming off of your bulbs, they are going to go in here. Another one here. And again, you can use the spades or not. I found that when the wire is just by itself, Doing the bare wire is fine, but when you kind of put it with that 18 gauge or that 12 gauge wire, it tends to keep popping loose. So that's why I put the spade on there. All right. So now, just to recap, your main bus comes in the top two, and then what you're doing is you're basically taking the main bus and splitting it out, running that circuit through a bulb. Now, put that aside for just a second. Underneath of the layout, what I've done is, in the sections here where these red ones are, I've run what I'm calling a sub bus. There's just a wire going from here that I stapled to the frame of my framing underneath the base. So I've got, let's say, one purple cable coming from here, and it's just stapled to the frame. Then there's an orange one, and then there is a green one representing my 3 tracks. So orange, actually I got orange, purple, and red. Now, what I did is those are all underneath of the track, and then I dropped feeders from here. From each side of here, and I used these vampire clips on each one of those, and then I put a solid spade connector on those feeders, and that's how I've been connecting my track to that sub bus. You don't have to do it that way. You can go directly from track into here. You can solder it directly. It's completely up to you. I'm just showing you how I did it. But for this demonstration purposes, I'm going directly from feeders into here. So you're just going to take your colored lines. You're going to put one in there. Oops. And again, my drop feeders, I'm using, what is that, 22 or 24 gauge wire, whatever comes in a Cat 6 cable, because that's what I did. I stripped out a bunch of Cat 6 cables and I separated the lines, and I've been using those as my feeders from my track down to the sub bus. But the actual sub bus itself is 18 gauge. So I'm going from 12 to 18 to 22. Alright, so you got all your colors matched up. With the 3 bulbs. Now again, the 2 outside ones are going to another terminal block down the line. So I'm leaving these open for now, but under my layout, these are filled with 12 gauge wires just going out. Now, the other rail is going to be a shared common, basically. So for me, it's a black wire. And what I did again is I took a black wire, either going from here or here, doesn't matter where it gets connected, and that is also under the layout. So there are 4 wires in the sub bus, and all of these black cables connect into that sub bus. So for just demonstration purposes, oh, actually I forgot to solder a wire. All right, give me just a second. Little solder on there. Oh, I already did solder on there. Okay, so I just didn't finish this. All right. So this, and this would represent the black wire. And I don't think I'm going to get this on there. Oh yeah, went through somewhat. Let's see if we can get it to crimp. All right, now, again, for my demonstration purposes, I'm just putting that in here. And that's it. Now, I'm going to turn my track bus on. You're probably going to hear some locomotives. All right. Technically, these things are live. So if I were to take a pair of tweezers and say, short out this track, bulb lights up. If I short out this track, different bulb lights up. Short out this track, third bulb lights up. It's that simple. Again, your main bus comes in. The power off of that is split. That goes to all three of your, one leg of your tracks, and then the black wire is your common. You mount these underneath your table in any which way you see fit. I am using these little wire clamps. These things, I just put a screw through the one side into the wood, and these things seem to fit nicely, sitting right in there. You could, if you wanted to, go out and buy like the sockets for these. I'm sure you can get them on Amazon for cheap, but honestly, I look at this like insurance. It's not something that you want to use, but it's there if you need it. So how often are you really going to be changing these that you need sockets? I think it's unnecessary, but hey, you could do it if you want. It might save you a little bit of soldering. But again, it's all relative to whoever's doing it. So yeah, solder, split the wires, all three. Those go to, for me, they go to a sub bus under there. And then my feeders are clamped onto the sub bus. For demonstration purposes, I got feeders going directly in here, which you can do, completely up to you. And then your common. So again, if this is my track one, there's one light, two lights, three lights. So if I got a train that shorts out over here, these trains will continue to go, and only this track will be affected for this section only, because at the end of this, there's insulators, and then it goes on to another sub bus. Same at this end. There's a set of insulators, and in the next framework, it goes to another sub bus. I hope that answers your question, or explains it better.